My time at the hospital, if remembered at all, is remembered in snapshots, flashes, little shards of jagged recollection. But they all add up, I guess. I mean, it's not that I'm not appreciative of the ER staff, but seriously, if they're going to ask you questions, why don't they pay attention? For example, my favorite was the medical history drill. Are you pregnant? Not without a miracle. What was that? Come again? They whisper amongst themselves in hushed tones. Is she pregnant? She could be pregnant. Me too, she's pregnant. Hello, does it look like there's a bright shining star or 3 wise men followed me in here? I didn't think so. Then there was this CT scan. So I tell them I'm claustrophobic. Yet they still seem surprised and a little bit angry when they have to pull me out of the machine and sedate me. Let me just add that just because someone is sedated does not mean they are oblivious to anything. They're deaf, dumb, or stupid. Just because someone is on the brink of becoming a human-sized can of V8 juice does not mean that they cannot hear you, because they do. Well, I was really out of it for about a week. And I mean really out of it. But there are a couple of things that do stand out in Vivid Technicolor. For instance, the exorcist who came in to give me last rites. This priest, I would have been scared of even if I wasn't immobile and incredibly thirsty. Dressed in all black, he looms in my direction, crosses slowly to my bed for added drama, I suppose, stands over me and says, "Would you like to discuss your mortal sins?" What next? A pop quiz? A PowerPoint presentation? Who knows this guy? Anyway, there are a few other things that are beginning to rise to the top of the murky water of that period, such as, a week into this picnic, I still realize that I have stage makeup caked all over my face. And the fact that when you watch SpongeBob SquarePants, it's infinitely more enjoyable if you're hyped up on morphine. And if anybody ever comes near you using the term blended diet, you better get out of there and get out of there quick. Well, that is if you can move that is. My introduction to this was a nice tall glass of pureed beet juice. So, why can't make beet taste any more enjoyable? Let's see. Other delicacies from the devil's Cuisinart consisted of the pureed tossed salad, blended lettuce with a hint of ranch dressing, and then there was the lasting indignity of saying, "Can I please have another sip of cake?" A few days later, my therapist walks into the room and hands me a photograph. She asks me to describe the 5 things that are wrong with the picture. I take one look at it and tell her I can't. She asks me why, and I simply say, because there are 6. She doesn't find that too amusing. Amazingly, this is the same therapist who leans over her clipboard one day and asks me if my family is still Hispanic. It was about that time that the hospital personnel started referring to me as highly functional. That's great. I just wanted to stand up and shout, "Hello, I have 2 master's degrees and I'm still not deaf." I decided I would keep my mouth shut because it was impolite. I soon did. High functioning, remember? That their chatter was just code for, isn't there some other hospital that can take a crack at this overeducated vile hag? So, at my pushing, they decided to find a hospital closer to home in Fort Worth, Texas. And they found me a doctor who, after a few days, could give me a few answers to the millions of questions I had already been answered. But this was not before I had to tell my story over again to another cabaret of nurses and doctors and secretaries, etc. Had I actually died and gone to hell? I seriously gave this issue some thought for a couple of days. The blended diet definitely gave the thought some credence, but I decided it wasn't really hell because there weren't the little animatronic children singing, "It's a small world after." Post-brain trauma therapy, I know, sounds a lot like a self-important rock band, but it's actually a form of treatment used to take any given patient and restore them back to being fully functional. It takes the patient and tries to get their levels back to what they were before they had their trauma. Since I was regarded as fully functional, they told me after I had mastered walking and talking and taking showers on my own, we would work you mean lots. So basically, they wanted to know what kind of educated, disabled, or vegetable I was going to become. I don't know, it was crazy, but... So, the main point of this whole thing is that no matter how much we owe them, how needed they are, how important they are, hospitals are not the place to get well.